In building a home gym, a product category you're gonna wanna spend a lot of time on, especially if you're in a compact setup like I am now, is specialty bars. I've talked about specialty bars ad nauseum. They are incredible, but today I wanna talk through from least underrated to most underrated, 3 specialty bars that I think you should add to your gym that I think a lot of people are overlooking. Let's do it. Hey guys, it's Coop from Garage Gym Reviews. I'm back in my gym. Actually, we just filmed a video on this new rack with all the different attachments. If you'd like to see that and my thought process through it, you can click that subscribe button. But today I wanna talk about specialty bars. In building a home gym, you're gonna wanna add specialty bars. They're gonna increase the versatility, especially a lot of people are coming from a commercial gym setting. You go into a home gym, and one thing I think that stops a lot of people from continuing to use their gym is variety. They get tired of just doing squat, deadlift, bench, but you don't have the money where you can add a ton of cables, a ton of attachments. So one way that you can add variety of training, confuse the muscles. Just kidding, that's not true. But a way to basically settle the monkey mind, get some variety in, or if you're competing and want to change around some of your movements, or if you're working around injuries, specialty bars are the way to go. In fact, for a lot of people, after you get your basics set up, and I'm talking basically your squat rack, your dumbbells, your benches, your Olympic barbells, those sorts of things, I think a lot of people would be benefited by adding specialty bars. So let's start with the 3rd most underrated, and then I'll go to the one that I think I've just been using a ton, I think is the most underrated. So we're gonna start with the curl bar. And I don't just mean any curl bar. I think the 3rd most underrated specialty bar of all time is the Rackable curl bar. The reason the Rackable curl bar is underrated, obviously people are wanting to increase the size of the biceps and the triceps. The problem with most curl bars is they're not designed for home gyms. Most curl bars are actually designed just so they can sit on a preacher curl bench, and then that's how you use an easy curl bar. That's what they were built for. Then suddenly people started building more and more home gyms. So what'd they buy? They bought easy curl bars. The problem is they weren't designed for their setup. So you buy this really expensive, let's say like a Rogue Easy Curl bar. Where are you gonna put it? How are you gonna load it? That's where this comes in handy. So there's a Rackable curl bar that suddenly unlocks your rack to be able to use it for whatever movements you wanna use. Obviously, you can use this if you just wanna do it for curls. So you place it on the rack, come out and do your curls. It also is nice for loading. So suddenly you don't have to load it on the ground and everything, you can put it on this. But I think more than that, the benefit of this is now you can use your easy curl bar for things like skull crushers and actually go heavy. Things like close grip press and actually go heavy. This also allows you to use your bench and attachments with all the different ones that are coming out with your easy curl bar. So for example, this is without a doubt the greatest home gym bench of all time, in my opinion. Make a preacher curl attachment where you can place this up, put it in the end, and suddenly you can use your rack for preacher curls. You can start at the top of the movement if you wanted, or you could just start at the bottom of the movement. But now it allows you to, instead of do this like weird thing where you're getting down and having to get set up, you're already set up like you would be in a preacher curl bench. So it saves space, saves money. They're not that much more expensive than others that are out there, and they just provide a lot more variety. Big fan. So if you're gonna get an easy curl bar, get the Rackable version. Now this one is from Rep Fitness. It's okay. I think this is actually their stainless version, and it is rusting. Like, just show you like real-time stuff. Like if you get in close here, there is definitely rust all over this thing. That stuff, that could come off pretty easily, but that's a little bit more problematic. Yeah, this is their stainless steel version, which I've hoped they come up with a new formulation since then. This is technically surface rust. I could take this off with a brush or something, but there are other versions out there. Rep makes a hard chrome version that's 200 bucks. Honestly, that would probably be one of my recommendations, but I don't think you have to go that expensive. Titan Fitness has one that's around 150 bucks. If you want extreme bends, which these bends are really small, I prefer bigger bends. If you want to spend the money, Rogue Fitness has a Rackable curl bar now with their big bends that they have on their other bars. It does cost a little bit more, but also it's using more steel, but that's a really good bar too. Bells of Steel has one too. That's about 200 bucks with the gold titanium. You can choose. Honestly, I don't think you have to put as much thought into a Rackable curl bar as you do a lot of bars. So I have no problem with people going cheap on this. So I would honestly look on Amazon, find some cheaper ones, or go with some like Titan Fitness, because I think that's one of the cheapest ones out there now. Okay, this next one is probably the most popular specialty bar in the world. So you're like, Coop, why is this underrated? It's because I still think a lot of people don't use these. I had a buddy recently ask me, he's got back problems. He's like, I love deadlifting, but my back hurts when I deadlift. Is there something out there that I can use instead? Well, this is the type of bar you can get. This is technically a hex bar or what's known as a trap bar. Honestly, it's kind of between this and a safety squat bar. I like safety squat bars. The problem with safety squat bar is they don't have the versatility that something like this does. This is the Rep open trap bar. This, in my opinion, is probably the best example of an open trap bar at the moment for a home gym because it's the most versatile. You can use this like a standard hex bar, which is why I think it's underrated because you can use it for deadlifts, you can use it for shrugs. It allows you to remove the handles and you can use it for pressing or squatting with the camber function. It's one reason I think this one is still very underrated, even though it's pretty popular. But there's just a lot you can do with this, and because it's open-ended, you can do lunges and Bulgarian split squats, other things that you can't do with a standard hex bar. So I think just hex bars in general are underrated, even though they're popular. I still think home gym owners are not adding them enough to their gym, especially for how much they cost. You can get a cap barbell version for very cheap, but I think specifically the Rep open trap bar for the price, this is the type of bar that should probably be in most home gym owners' arsenal because you can get a lot of usage out of it for the price. And then this is the bar that is most underrated in my opinion. Can I get a drum roll, please? Is this guy. This is the Seal Row bar. The Seal Row bar is the most underrated specialty bar of all time, and I'm gonna tell you why. First off, the naming convention is not helpful to the sales of the Seal Row bar because most people do not have a Seal Row bench. And that's not the only way you should use this. In fact, I don't even think that's the best way you should use the Seal Row bar for. For example, this one is from Rogue Fitness. Rogue Fitness doesn't even have their own product page for this bad boy. They sell it on their Seal Row bench page, and then they have this small section where you can add this to the cart. Now this one is very exaggerated. It has a 7-inch camber drop. The reason for that is because they're making this for their Seal Row bench. What this does allows you to lay on their Seal Row bench and then do rows. But they have this big camber, so you're not hitting the top of the bench and shortening your ROM. This allows you to go all the way. This one is probably the most dramatic of all the Seal Row bars that are out there. Because of that, although I like this one, it's made very well. It's like all other Rogue bars, made in the USA, really high tensile strength steel. The problem is the camber is, in my opinion, more than ideal for some of the other usage. It's really designed for their bench. Rogue, you should come out with a better version that has a shorter camber as an option. I would like that. The other name that I think works well for these, that I think would give them more adoption, is the cambered bench press bar. It's the same bar, it's just one is called for bench press, one is called for rows, chest or back. But I think you can use it for both, and I use them for both. If I wanted to tuck my bench in here and do a row, chest supported row, I can do it no problem. I can use it off my bench or I can use an attachment. I get it off here and then I row. So this allows you to suddenly be able to do rows with a lot more ROM. I love the Seal Row bar for that purpose. But the purpose that I've been using it for more and more, and I think that a lot of people could find benefit from in their home gym, because for a lot of movements people are doing in their home gym, the range of motion they're able to get on a bench press is here because they're using a straight bar, unless you're using your dumbbells. Well, if you use a cambered bench bar, also known as a Seal Row bar, I have this one from Titan Fitness. I just took the sleeves off so I could attach it to the BTS. This way I can do a Smith machine with my Seal Row bar. This now allows me to get to full ROM, no problem. Notice it's not even touching my chest yet, and I'm like maxed out. Something that you cannot do with a normal straight bar. In addition to that, if you wanted to, you're just looking for variety, you can throw these on your back, especially if you have shoulder issues. This will allow you to not have your hands so high up, which won't torque the shoulders as much. So you can get under here, unlock, and suddenly you can do squats with a cambered bar that's not gonna cause as many issues on your shoulders. In fact, there's a lot of people that can't squat at all. And it's not because they have knee problems or anything like that. It's because they got shoulder issues. Well, you can go with a safety squat bar, which is great. Or if you want another variety, That is cambered bench bar, seal row bar. Honestly, I think it needs a better name because then I think people would adopt it more because they'd realize it can do more than one thing. So the most underrated bar of all time, in my opinion, for a home gym right now is the cambered bench bar or the seal row bar. Now here's my recommendations for these. You can spend a lot on these. You've got your Rogue seal row bar that's like 325 bucks. Honestly, because the camber is so dramatic on that, when you're pressing, it kind of becomes hard to prevent it from tipping over. So if you're gonna use it for bench, I honestly would avoid that one. I got it initially and I was like, oh, this is gonna be good. But the more I've used it, just the more annoying it is to prevent it from falling over. I think this one from Titan Fitness, it has actually surprisingly really good knurling. It's wider so you can use it on your back, and it's enough of a camber, I think, for a lot of movements for rows. Another option, Exponent Edge. They make the Edge cambered bar. It's another version that I think works well. It's similar to this, not as dramatic of a drop as you see from the Rogue Fitness version, from a smaller company, but also it feels really good on curls too. I've been using it, it's at the gym. That's another option, and it only weighs 31 pounds because it has shorter sleeves. Most of you should probably start with something like a trap bar, and then maybe a safety squat bar or something like that, but I think you can get a lot done with the trap bar and then add something like a seal row bar. Let me know what you think. I'd honestly love to hear it from anybody that loves the seal row bar, cambered bench bar, and uses it often. Are there any other setups you use it in? I'd love to hear it in the comments. This has been Coop from Garage Gym Reviews. I'll see you next time. Peace.